Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to design a poster based on some shoegaze bands that I love and would love to see in concert if they ever came to Nashville. So let's jump into Illustrator and have some fun. Alright, so I found this really cool poster on Pinterest, and this is going to be my inspiration for this poster. I thought it would be really cool for a shoegaze concert poster because it looks like shoegaze pedal boards. At least that's what came to mind for me, but maybe it's because I'm biased. Anyway, so I think that the first step is going to be laying out all the different bands that I would want to see at this show. And since this is a made-up concert, I'm just gonna list the ones that I would love to see. All right, so this has definitely turned into more of a festival lineup than a single concert, but I'm just gonna go with it. All right, so I'm just gonna move this off of my artboard for now, and let's go ahead and create something that's kind of similar to this. I don't want to do a straight up copy, but I'm just going to do a similar vibe. So we'll do a 1-inch margin coming in. I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and create our stroke at like maybe a 2-point or something like that. And then we will align this to the inside. So that way it kind of stays within our margins. And the whole idea here, I'm not really too concerned with getting it precise mathematically, although I do want the spacing in between these rectangles to be consistent. But I do like this 3-column layout right here, so we'll kind of do something like that. So I think what we'll do is just kind of bring this over here, and since we have a 1-inch margin on that side, we'll make this 1 inch as well. And we'll do something like this right here, and maybe we'll bring this one over, and we'll adjust these to where there's a 1-inch spacing in between them. So I'm gonna go over here to my align panel, and let's bring this up to 1 inch, and we'll align this with this, and we'll align these two with that one. And now we need to do a little bit of math. So we have 18 inches going across. We need to calculate how large these squares need to be for there to be 1 inch in between each one of them. So we have 18 going across, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces that need 1-inch spacing. So we're gonna subtract 4. And that leaves us with 14 inches, and now we're going to divide that by 3. And that right there is how big our squares need to be. So 4.66 inches. And now we can align this one with this one. And now select all 3 of these and go into our align panel, and we're going to align to the selection and click on horizontal distribute space. And now what I'll do here is align this with this and align this one with this one. That way everything is nice and symmetrical. And now we'll just move this down here and align this, and now we'll just copy this down here, and we'll align that, make sure that that has a 1-inch spacing, and bring this up here to the very bottom, and now we'll do -1 inch, and we'll do 2 going across instead of 3. And then what I'll do here is bring this one to the center, bring this one to the center, and then we'll subtract 1/2 inch here, and make sure that we have our anchor point here. And then anchor point to the right side and subtract another 1/2 inch. And here's our layout. So this is gonna act as our shoegaze pedal boards. All right, so we have 7 squares and rectangles here, but only 6 bands listed. So let's go ahead and add 1 more band, and let's show some love to blushing. All right, so what we need to do is we need to start putting these inside of the boxes where they need to be. And I would like to make all of them probably around the same size. So we need to size it according to which one is gonna go into these squares right here. So we've got Glare, Tallies, and Deserta. Those are actually the shortest in terms of the letter length. So let's size these according to maybe 70 point. And for Deserta, Glare, and Tallies, I'm gonna set these to center. So that way we can go kind of like this. And we can definitely do some variants here to make sure that it's not exactly the same all across these. So we'll center that. We'll bring this all the way down to the bottom. We'll align that to the baseline and maybe bring this up, maybe 1 inch or so? I think that looks good. And now let's align this, and we'll align this to the top and then push this down by 1 inch. And instead of going thin, we'll go with light just to give it a little bit more weight. We'll bring this in by -1 inch. Let's go ahead and line up Astro Bright. I'll probably just center that one. That looks good. And now let's put Echo Ladies here. That actually works out really well. And we'll put Blushing right there. If you're a shoegaze fan and you're not familiar with any of these bands, or at least some of these bands, definitely go check them out. I would say these are probably my favorites. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to figure out a place to put our information. So what I think I'm gonna do is bring this up here, and all of our information will probably go in this square instead. So we'll create our 1-inch margin there. And each one of these bands will have their own designated space. All right, so let's duplicate this text down here so that way we can add our venue information. And typically you would make this smaller, but I do like the fact that all of the text is the same size in the original poster, so I'm just gonna go with that. And we're gonna say this is at Marathon Music Works because I think that would be a really cool venue to do something like this. We'll say Marathon Music Works, Nashville. Let's go ahead and line this to the bottom and then back it off by an inch. And then for the date, we'll just say my birthday. That would be awesome. The only two bands here that I've actually seen are Slow Crush and Blushing, but it sure would be awesome to see all of these bands together. And now we'll just say that it starts at 6 p.m. All right, so I was having trouble with getting the time in there, so let's just do this. And wouldn't it be awesome if you didn't know when the Shoegaze concert was gonna end? It's like 6 p.m. to just whenever. And wouldn't it be just incredible if it was $25 a person? This definitely gives new meaning to the term dream concert. All right, cool. So now what we need to do is just join all of these different petals together. There's a couple of ways I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what they're doing in the original poster right here because I like that overall look. I think it's really cool. So we'll do a 1-inch circle and then we'll just kind of place them randomly inside of these other shapes. And I'll adjust these right here to kind of accommodate those spaces a little bit. All right, and to connect these together, you could go over here and use the pen tool and just kind of go like this right here. But I'd like to show you a different way just in case you don't know about this tool. So right next to the pen tool, we have the curvature tool. So this is pretty cool actually. So let's go ahead and click in here in the center, and we can also click in the center right here. And after you click, when you move your mouse right here, you'll get a perfect curve right here. So it'll be a little bit more curvy, although you have a little bit less control, but the curve itself overall is actually smoother than what the pen tool creates. And then whenever you click on it, you just go to your direct selection tool and select that anchor point and delete it. So just an option in case you didn't know about the curvature tool. And you can still go in and manipulate these handles right here. So I like this and how it's kind of dipping into that square a little bit, so I think I'll keep that. One thing that they're not doing on the original poster that I may do on mine is to fill in those circles and then bring them to the front. So it kind of looks a little bit more like wires, because obviously on something like this that's holding down wires, you wouldn't actually see the wires underneath what's holding them down. So now we can combine these two right here and do a nice little curve going this way. Make sure that we turn off our fill. And now we can just eyedrop this and bring it to the front. And we might as well just go ahead and do that to the rest of these circles as well. And now this works out perfectly. We have two more to connect. So we'll just kind of go like that. I want kind of a little bit more exaggerated type of curve there. And now we'll just connect these last two. All right, so now all those circles are connected. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add in some chords that are gonna connect all of these different pedal boards together. So it doesn't have to be too complicated, but what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring my rectangle tool up and I'm just gonna cut this off, these two sides, and then we'll just grab this side right here and just do like maybe a 1/4 inch curve. And then you can just kind of copy this right here. Bring this in right here to where it's right in the center. That looks good. And just make sure that your points are the same size. And I'm going to get this exactly to the halfway point there in that negative space, and we'll do the same thing here. All right, so now all we have to do is connect these together. So we do need another rounded corner right here. And we'll just kind of go like that. Align that. And now we can just select these two open points with our direct selection tool and do Command J. That will join those together. And we'll do the same thing there. So now we have these connections in between these two, and we can connect the rest of it just by using our pen tool. And for right here, just to kind of change it up a little bit, we'll do just a direct path going there. It doesn't have to be too crazy. And just like we did earlier, we can grab these and just kind of use these as a reference point. We'll say that the output is going right here with this one. Bring this down here and just kind of rotate it and align this with that edge. And we'll align this right here and just bring this down here. And now this one will go directly into here. So let's move this up right here and then just join these together. And when you're doing the join, you want to make sure that you have those two endpoints selected with your direct selection tool. That's very important. And now we can do something a little bit different. Let's kind of bring this down here. We'll duplicate this, delete these. And what I want to do with this is just kind of have it go from here to here this way. So we'll just transform and reflect that. And now just join these together. It's looking good. And now we'll say that this one has an output going from here to here. And then for these last two, we'll say that there's two that have to be connected to it. And let's connect not this one, but the glare one to blushing. And all we have to do there is delete our anchor points there, duplicate this, delete the rest of those anchor points, and then rotate this around if it'll actually cooperate with me. And we'll just plug this one directly into blushing. That looks good. All right, so very visually interesting Shoegaze festival poster here that would be unbelievable if it actually happened. All right, so now if you wanted to change all of this from black on white to white on black, all we'd have to do is select everything, hit copy, and we're gonna paste into Photoshop as a smart object. So it's right here in the center. And now all we have to do is create a fill adjustment layer and just click on invert, and it just inverts all those colors for us. So here we have a very cool Shoegaze Festival concert poster inspired by that one poster that we found on Pinterest, and I think this is looking awesome. Please, the powers of be, make this happen. You have a little over a month to do it. All right, well, thanks a lot for joining me for this video. I hope I taught you something in Illustrator or maybe in Photoshop today. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications to be notified of all future videos. Thanks a lot for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.